food is just like finances. If you don't have bookkeeping and KPIs and a P&L, there's no way to know how your business is doing. You might be bleeding out. You might be doing dumb things that are hurting your business. My boy Liver King eats the whole egg with the shell. This is fresh from the coop. Oh, look, you can see a little bit of poop on it still. And then he just eats it. There's a lot of dads who think that they're doing the right things for their kids and saying, oh, well, I'm building my business for my kid. And the reality is, by the time you look up, your kid's already grown and you lost it all. And they would have rather had less money and more of you.
How long have you been fasting?
In general, I fast once a quarter for 3 days. Just nothing, just water. And then like I just completed a 5-dayer like 2 weeks ago. So that was good. But now I'm trying to do it like once a day on Wednesdays. I think it's a good day to do it. And yeah, it's good.
Walk me through. What does that mean exactly? Like you fast on Wednesday?
Well, so, I mean, most of my fast are for spiritual reasons, right? So like every quarter I want to do a fast and, just really get discernment from God on what I'm doing. So like every quarter I do it at the start because like obviously you're making big decisions every quarter. And so I'm like, hey, let me just try and listen to what God has to say versus me just like forcing everything. And so it always has like, and every quarter too, we always have big decisions to make. It's like, man, are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Are we going to get rid of this? And then so it always leads to good wisdom. But the Wednesday thing's not so much for spiritual reasons. The Wednesday thing is more so for health reasons of just like, I eat like crap a lot. So if I don't eat for a full day, it should counteract all the ice cream I eat throughout the week. You know, here's the thing people don't know about health, or not health, but just like food, right? So food is just like finances. It's the exact same, right? Like a budget is a diet. And so let's just say you make income, $10,000 a year. However you budget the 10,000 is like how you're going to live. So if you don't use the whole 10,000, then you're going to have savings and money left over and like you can invest and it's going to make you financially stronger, but everything else. If you spend more than 10,000, then you're going in debt and it's not good. Food is no different, right? You basically have a budget of how many calories you burn every day. And so if you burn 3,000 calories, then basically your budget's 3,000. And if you go over that, you're going to gain weight. If you go under that, if your goal is to lose weight, then you're going to lose weight. And so for me, I look at it and I'm like, all right, I probably burn 3,000 calories ish. And I consume about maybe on average 3,300. So I'm over budget. But if I just don't eat for a whole day, then I'm back, to maintenance.
Doesn't your Oura ring tell you how many calories you burn every day?
Yeah, but I got rid of it. So I'm just wearing.
When did you get rid of it?
For a while. I just don't need it. Like I literally just look at the scale and I'm like, oh, I gained a pound or 2 pounds. I shouldn't eat today. And so I don't. Like that's how you maintain. The problem is, okay, this is any business and life and everything else in general. But like there's a book called Measure What Matters, right? Like whatever you're tracking is the only thing that like actually you can actually make pivots and adjustments to. We tell people at Wealthy Investor all the time, hey, if you don't have bookkeeping and KPIs and a P&L, there's no way to know how your business is doing. You might be bleeding out. You might be doing dumb things that are hurting your business. So you got to track stuff. And so for me, I could track my calories. Like if I was super intense, I would track my calories. I would track my macros, how many I burned, but I ain't doing all that, right? So I just simply look at the scale and the result. And I'm like, oh, I'm looking pretty soft and I gained 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Instead of letting this continue to be a bad path and I'm going to gain 10 pounds, I'm now going to counteract it and not eat or do more cardio, which is usually not what I choose. I would much rather not eat than do cardio.
What about when you're fasting? Like, let's say you're going to go on a 3-day spiritual fast. Do you like wake up in the morning and then like pray for answers, or like do they just randomly come to you, or like how does that work?
Good question. So yeah, usually during one of these 3-day fast, there will be big decisions or situations in my life that like I'm praying for. Because I mean, like between all the businesses, family, you know, there's so many big decisions every literally week. But so yeah, like I'll really be praying about like, it might just be like a decision in that moment, or it could be like a really big picture decision. Like we've been talking about with the branding for Wealthy, you know, we're currently like finalizing, you know, branding for Wealthy. And it's like, man, this is a big decision. Like this would be something to really fast and pray about and make sure that this is the path we want to go. So yeah, I mean, like typically what happens is I'll either just like feel it and like I'll receive it and I'll be like, all right, I feel like peace with this choice we're about to make. Or I'll get a sign from somebody else and it'll be like confirmation in the decision. Or I'm going to hear nothing. And then that's a sign that it's like, hey, just wait. Like you're going to have to be patient.
Wow.
Don't like rush into just making a decision for the sake of making a decision if you don't have to. Now, obviously, if you're under the gun, then that's one thing. You have to like make a decision. But a lot of times these decisions don't have like time frames. Like we have no time frame for when we have to finish this branding.
Rebrand, yeah.
But once we know, we'll know. Like I'll be at peace and I'll be like, all right, that's it.
Have you fasted?
I'll randomly fast, but like, so my wife and I just moved to Las Vegas from California, and that was a big decision for us, and we were kind of confused for a while. Like, should we do this? Should we not do this? And my wife, you know, was thinking to herself and maybe talking to God, like, should we move to Vegas? Like, give us a sign. She got in the car and turned on the radio, and the very first commercial was like, oh, if you want to move to Vegas, we have a moving company, blah, 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 blah. Like for her, that was like a sign to move. And then there was another sign. Grant Cardone was here shooting a show, and I was talking to one of the people that were on the show, and he was telling me about how he's moving to Vegas, how he's excited.
Was this when Grant was filming here?
Yeah.
At the office? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was here for that, and I was talking to one of the people, and he was talking about moving to Vegas, and then he took me to go look at some of his apartments and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is like a sign that I should move to Vegas because of all these opportunities, like, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting that you do that when you're trying to
signs are big. Like that's always what I'm looking for. Because even like right now, I'm supposed to go to Costa Rica tomorrow, and so you know we're looking at buying real estate there, and I've talked about it on the show. But like I've been getting signs not to buy, and so now I'm really like I follow it where I'm like, all right, it seems great, but if that's what you're telling me to do, then I'm going to be obedient.
I actually read a book called The Ruthless, Elimination, Hurry. Changed my perspective on a lot of things. Like I don't even drive past 70 now on the freeway from that book. And like I find a lot of clarity and power in every week fasting. That is something that they talk about in the book. And just like mental clarity, like something that I would just like, just try, like just go for it. Like just maybe start just on a Monday or whatever day you choose. And like,
so it talks about fasting like once a week?
Yeah. Actually, the pastor that wrote the book talks about Friday night to Saturday night.
The Sabbath.
Yeah, and that was interesting because I was like, I don't know if this is ever an option with kids that are going to probably potentially play sports. I have 3 small boys. And but something that is challenging, something that was like maybe in the future, shutting off everything from Friday night to Saturday night with the family could be something that I want to do.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who actually practice. They don't fast, but you know they honor the Sabbath and shut everything off, and they'll do it for a period of time every week. Hey, if you're looking to grow your real estate investing business, whether you're just getting started trying to get your first deal or you're trying to scale and get to the next level, you need to join us at Wealthy Investor. We've got events every single quarter that are absolutely crazy. We've got online coaching programs where we have Zoom calls, a community every single week. We give you everything you need to know to start your business, scripts, processes, SOPs, all of it. It's for you so that you can dominate. So if you want to learn more about how to join our community and be mentored by me and some of our top coaches and be around other students who are absolutely crushing it, Go to wealthyinvestor.com, apply for a free call with my team. Once again, wealthyinvestor.com, apply for a call today. Here's my take with eggs. I've eaten eggs like almost every day of my life, my entire life. I started out in high school. Well, no, actually, let's go even deeper. So back when I was in,
I was a baby.
No, for real. Back when I was like 8 years old, my dad thought it was a good idea every morning to take me to McDonald's to eat an Egg McMuffin.
There you go.
So, right, that was our routine. Before school, I literally, we would go to McDonald's every day. I ate McDonald's Egg McMuffins for like years.
Oh, you turned out fine.
I did. Right. So, and you know, I wanted
played in the World Baseball Classic, fueled by McDonald's Egg McMuffins.
Yeah.
pro athlete. I'm good. So I ended up, and also too, my dad, I wanted like a super McMuffin. And so I would get a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin. And then my dad would get a normal Egg McMuffin, which had ham. And so he would give me his ham. And so I'd have a super McMuffin with sausage, ham, egg, cheese. And then he would just eat, you know, the whatever, the bread and the egg. So I eat that every day for years. So I grew up loving eggs. And then when I got into high school and I was like, man, dude, I want to freaking get jacked and get muscles and trying to be a pro. I read this diet book and it was like, yeah, you got to eat 7 eggs a day. You've got to like do this. And I was like, screw it. I'm eating 7 eggs a day. So I started cooking 7 eggs a day when I was 18 years old, or like 16 actually. And I ate 7 eggs a day for like years. Yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
So then
So random.
I have so many stories.
You'd be broke in 2023 with the cost of eggs.
Well, you know, back when I was in college, it was the recession. So it was 2008, my freshman year. And like, I remember at Costco, you could buy 60 eggs for like $4 or $5. And so like eggs were great. They were so cheap, filling, delicious, you know, whatever. So anyways, my pro career, I eat eggs every morning. I tone it down. I don't need 7, like 4 is good. So I'd eat like 4 every day. And then I had Jay Cutler, the bodybuilder, on my podcast like 2 years ago. And Jay was like, yeah, dude, back when I was training, I would eat 30 egg whites a day. And he's like, and I would crack all 30. I didn't know about, you know, all this other stuff. And I was like, you ate 30 egg whites a day and you got that big? I was like, okay. Obviously, there was other things going on too, not just 30 egg whites. But I was like, and you ate them raw? He's like, yep. I was like, all right, I'm going to start drinking raw egg whites.
Wait, say this again. He would drink 30 egg whites raw? He didn't cook them?
No. Yeah, he drank them, right? He said he first started cooking them, but when you cook them, it becomes way more filling than drinking them. So he started to drink them to get the calorie, because the calorie doesn't change.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to be like Jay Cutler. So I buy like those cartons, and they each have 50 grams of protein in them. And for about a year and a half straight, I just drank a carton of eggs every morning. So that was my breakfast. Yeah. And
It's good. It's fast and easy.
Oh, it's super easy. And I mean, raw egg whites are better than protein. I mean, it's natural. My boy Liver King eats the whole egg with the shell.
Yeah.
I seen him do that now.
Yeah.
He's going to speak at a WealthCon soon.
I hope so.
About the eggs or what?
I don't know what he's going to talk
Doesn't
about.
matter, right?
Testicles, something like that.
Yeah. But he eats literally the whole raw egg. And I'm like, wow. He's like, dude, I was watching one of his episodes. He had the egg. He's like, this is fresh from the coop. Oh, look, you can see a little bit of poop on it still. I was like, okay. And then he just eats it.
So, they say if you take whenever you eat your eggs, you take the shells, you grind them up into like a powder, and then you can just mix it into water and drink it. And like the calcium and all that stuff from the eggs, it's like one of the best sources, and your body will absorb it super quick if you turn it into a powder and then drink it. So there is something to eating the shells.
I don't doubt it. I just don't want to do it. I mean,
I'm not crunching on shells.
No. So anyways, like, the raw eggs was kind of like my limit. And then, so I just go on phases with eggs. So then, we were talking about the poached eggs. And so I did that for like, a year, and just had poached eggs every morning, 4 of them. And it was great. Then I started making something called egg pudding. Guys, I'm a connoisseur of eggs.
You're going deep right now.
I remember this. I remember when you told us about this.
Yeah, so egg pudding is amazing. It's a Korean dish, and I always get it every time I go to Korean barbecue. Like if you ask for the steamed egg, that's like what egg pudding is. And so like you get it, and it's like a souffle of an egg. And you're like, wow, man, how the heck do they make this? Well, I Googled it, and I was like, how do they make this? And it's actually not that hard to make. It's just simply eggs and chicken broth. And so that's what gives it like the flavor. And then you buy this Korean like hot stone, and then it just cooks, and it's great. So now that's like my go-to snack. If like I want a late night snack, I'll make an egg pudding. But I'm actually not eating eggs in the morning right now. I'm just drinking protein shakes. And honestly, I don't feel as good. So maybe I'm going to go back to it. I have less energy just only drinking protein shakes.
Yeah, I guess with like food and fasting and all this stuff, I know there was like a hot seat question where people were asking your thoughts on drinking as a Christian, because I know you guys just had the content and cocktails workshop.
Yep.
There's some people on Twitter asking about if you should be drinking since you're a Christian, and your thoughts on that.
So, I mean, Jesus drank wine, first off. Okay. So as far as drinking goes, there's a difference between having a drink and then getting drunk. They're two different things, right? And so do I think Christians should be getting drunk and getting crazy? No. Do I think Christians can have a drink? Yes. So that's where my stance is on it. But I grew up in a household that didn't drink. My parents to this day still don't drink. They just don't like to.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Probably about the same as you. Yeah, I definitely don't think you should get crazy, but I don't think drinking in moderation. And I like now that I have kids, like I think I just drank too much in college. Like I don't even like when we were at VCon, like there's so many networking events, and like literally just didn't drink at any of them. Yeah. I just the way that my mind works at like stuff like that is like I want to be 100%. You know, even if you have one drink, I just always want to be 100%. If I'm gonna, you never know who you're gonna run into. You never know where you're going to be at. And so
people always ask me that at WealthCon because, you know, we have a lot of after parties and stuff. I don't know how many drinks I drink, but like I'm fine. And the next day I walk out on stage and we roll and it's good. And I don't know. I have like a high tolerance. I don't know why.
What do you feel about that?
About Christians drinking? I think like Brian said, like as long as you're not abusing it, and I think you need to be able to stop. 'Cause I've had a few friends who they end up like drinking pretty consistently and they don't even notice it.
Yep.
So I think I had that problem for a while, and I think when I first started talking to you, I just wasn't drinking at all. So I went like 2 years without.
I was gonna say you don't even drink.
Yeah, no. Like it helped me. Taking that 2-year break helped me like just like lose all attachment to drinking. Where like now when I go out with people and people are drinking, I don't have to drink.
Yeah.
I only drink when I want to.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
One of the 7 deadly sins is gluttony, right? But most people think of gluttony from the movie of like a fat person eating food. But gluttony can refer to anything. Like if you overdrink, that's gluttonous, right? Like, so I think to your point, I used to work in all the nightclubs and manage DJs, and I used to drink like 5 nights a week. And then when I stopped doing that, and for no reason at all, I just didn't drink for like 6 months. And then I went back one night and I drank, and I was like, the next day I was like, this is terrible. Yeah. Like, why do I do this? And now I socially drink, like I have wine at dinner or right. And it changed, like my life like changed when I switched from, you know, I was never like a big, like, let me get drunk blackout, but it just, the effect that alcohol has on your mind, because, you know, the hangover is because your brain is swelling. Like, it's not fun. Who wants to do that to themselves?
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think, this doesn't go for just drinking, but it goes for anything, right? So it's like, if you struggle with drinking because you know it's going to lead you to do other things, you can't stop. Like you said, you have no control, or it's going to become a bad habit, or, you know, it's going to lead you to make bad decisions, then you shouldn't drink at all. You know, like that's just what it should be. Right. The same is true. Like even,
but that could be with any vice, right?
Right. And so I was going to say, for Christians or even somebody who just wants to have a good marriage, right? If you struggle with lust and you struggle with, flirting with other girls or whatever the case is it a sin to go to a bar? No, it's not a sin to go to the bar or to go to an event or a party or whatever, right? Like going to it's not. But if that's what causes you to stumble, then it becomes the problem. And you shouldn't go to those things because it's not right for you.
Yeah.
I also think it's like very powerful to be in a situation where you have the control and maybe you're out drinking or you're out with a bunch of friends and they want you to drink or kind of that peer pressure and you just say no, because I think showing strength and knowing who you are is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And I think you can do that. That's not just drinking. That's in so many different aspects of your life. And Joey knows, like me for sure, like I'm 100% me every single day. And I think that's so powerful to show people. And it's universal.
Unapologetic.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to be a father?
What does being a father mean? I mean, for me, I'm coming up on my third kid. Davila is coming up on his fourth kid. So how many kids do you have?
Three.
So yeah, we're all in that same boat. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I just try to model myself after how my dad was. I mean, and that's how I think most people end up going. And I'm just grateful that my dad was such a good influence. I mean, my parents are still married. He came to every baseball game, like literally ever. Took me to all my practices. Figured out a way to provide and get me like the coaching and stuff that I needed. And he was also humble enough to know like he wasn't the right guy to like go train me in baseball. Like when I see these dads who are like try to train their kids in sports, they don't know anything. You're just like, bro, that kid has no chance. He was smart enough to be like, yeah, I am not the guy, but I will get you the guy to hone your skills. And so, yeah, he's just, and he set a great example too. Like I said, he didn't drink. He didn't do any of that stuff. Like he was a great husband, a great dad. And so like, I really looked at that and I'm like, man, I want to be there for my kids. I want to show them what faith looks like. I want to show them also what hard work looks like. He was an extremely hard worker. I want to show them like, and I also want to empower them to let them know that they can achieve anything, because I see a lot of parents who they'd like try and basically play it safe with their kids, like, oh, do this and, really like find nice and secure. My dad and even my mom was always like, why don't you just be the best baseball player in the world? Like you could do it. Why don't you do this? Like, and so they fostered that mentality in my mind from an early age where it was like, dude, I can do anything. Like I literally, there's nothing I don't look at where I'm like, yeah, there's no way I could ever do that. I'm like, how do I do that? So I think being a dad for me is, instilling all of those characteristics into my kids and honestly just being present for them. I think that's the biggest thing, So there's a lot of dads who say, they love being a dad, but their actions don't show that. And there's a lot of dads who maybe believe, and this is what the wealthy way is all about. I know there's a lot of dads who think that they're doing the right things for their kids and saying, oh, well, I'm building my business for my kid. And, we got to sacrifice today and yada, yada, yada. But the reality is by the time you look up, your kid's already grown and you lost it all. And they would have rather had less money and more of you. So I don't know if that answers the question, but.
No, I love it. I think everybody's answer is different. What about you, Davila?
I think being a father pretty much is like you're the leader of the family. So like with finances, I think with everything, you're pretty much responsible. Even if like you and your wife are not on the same page, it's almost still your responsibility to like figure it out, not so much your wife. So I just see it like you're pretty much the leader of the family.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, probably just, I think it's such a big responsibility to be able to instill good ethics, gratitude, being a good person into kids. And like, that's the responsibility. It's especially more important these days than it's ever been to be a good parent. And, like you said about like no 8th place trophies, instill confidence in your kids. But I think amplifying being a good person and putting that on a pedestal over other things like material things is really important. And like my dad sounded very similar to your dad, was there for everything. And I think it's so important to be present with your kids because they do know when you're not present. So.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Joey,
Joey,
what about
football.
you? Your dad?
Yeah. So my family was a little different than yours, Ryan. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 2. And then my dad got remarried. He had my half sisters that are twins, then got remarried again, and now I have a stepbrother and a stepsister. But he was always there. Like we moved to Florida, he stayed in New Jersey, and he was there for everything. He flew down. He was always very supportive. I played sports my whole life. He couldn't be there because he lived in New Jersey, but my mom was like the team mom. She was, the PTA. She did everything. Like she played the role of both parents because my dad was in New Jersey, but he was still an amazing dad. I still have under my bed from when I was in elementary school, where the first day of school, they ask you to, they would ask you to write like your name, what do you want to be when you grow up, all that stuff. I still have from in middle school where my answer to what I want to be when I grow up was a father. Elementary school was I wanted to be a dad. It's like the one thing my whole life that it's what I've always wanted to be. I like something inside of me, like there was always this calling to just want to be a dad. And it took me till later in life. Like I didn't have my first kid till I was 39. So like, all my other friends and family had kids in their 20s and early 30s. And I was always like the uncle and it hurt for a long time because I always wanted to be a dad. So for me, being a dad is like a lot of what GT said is being present. I work from home, but I make sure I take 5 or 10 minutes out of every hour to leave my office and go give my kids a hug and a kiss or play with them. Like everything I do because I want to give them the best life they can, not just financially, right? Like I want to give them love. I want to support them. So like for me, being a dad, my answer is simple. It's everything.
I love that, bro. And that's what the Wealthy Way is all about, guys. Building wealth and, business is obviously something most of us strive for, and it's a goal, and that's amazing. But, if you're dead in the other areas of your life, you don't have relationships, you're not a good dad, or, you're out of shape, or you have no faith, like all of that is worse than, not having money. And so, that's why the message is out here today of like, man, we got to really focus on building all areas of life, not just money, because money is the one that's like the easiest to fall a victim of pursuing, and because we spend so much time working and providing, and we get competitive, we want nicer things, we want all this stuff, and I'm no different, right? So it's like you got to really like prioritize the things in your life that mean a lot to you.